Hi, I'm Blake from FootballX, and today I'm unboxing the brand new MercurialX Proximo 2 Turf version by Nike Football. Let's get these boots out of the box and the box out of the way. So as part of this video, we'll be doing a direct comparison with this Proximo version and the Superfly 5 version, so stay tuned till the end of this video to wait for that part. So this is the second generation of the highly popular MercurialX Proximo, launched back in February 2015 and aligns with the recently released Mercurial Superfly 5. So the design virtually copies the Superfly 5's launch design of Total Crimson, Pink, Blast, Black and Volt Yellow. You'll see that half and half design again on the MercurialX Proximo, while the sole is completely Volt Yellow. So bring this boot closer so we have a closer look at this design. So most of it is virtually the same as the Superfly 5. So here's the Superfly 5, we'll compare it later and as part of this video. And yeah, it's pretty much Total Crimson on one side, Pink Blast on the other side, black on the laces and black on the flynet on the dynamic fit collar, with a bit of Volt Yellow coming in between. So I'll just fold it out. It's a really sort of nice premium feel. So when you put your foot inside the shoe, the Volt Yellow will come out like that. It's a really sort of premium feel. And MercurialX branding on the heel here is Volt Yellow. The entire rubber sole is Volt Yellow, a really nice feel there. And black on the sort of extra parts of the sole and on the metal sort of support system here. And the speed ribs are black and they merge with the Pink Blast and the Total Crimson colors, and Volt Yellow swoosh logos on the forefoot and on the medial side of the boot. So it's a very vibrant and modern colorway by Nike Football. A lot of people actually haven't been a fan of this design. Cristiano Ronaldo is the headline wearer of the Superfly. He has been wearing a lot in the Euro 2016 finals. Overall, I'm actually a big fan of this colorway. It's all really about personal preference. I would have preferred if this Total Crimson was on both sides of the boot. On the Vapor 11, it's actually featured on both sides of the boot, the Total Crimson. Just not really a major fan of this half-half design. So we get into the tech specs of the MercurialX Proximo 2. So again, we see this new speed rip technology applied, which merges with the Flynet upper for an overall compressed and comfortable playing experience. The speed ribs are featured on both sides of these boots. It's a sort of line pattern you see from your heel to the toe of this boot. It sort of starts around just before the heel here, and it comes right down on the lateral side of the boot, right down to the toe box, and onto the other side, onto the medial side, where it comes to about here. So it's virtually where you touch the ball and where you strike the ball for passing, shooting and controlling. So the speed rib design is thicker on the medial side of the boot and thinner on the lateral side of the boot to work with the style of play needed on each side of the boot. So on the lateral side it's much thinner, so it's pretty much designed for speed dribbles on the lateral side of the boot, and on the medial side the speed ribs are much thicker. The speed ribs are actually made of Flynet themselves, so they're much thicker on the medial side, so you're going to get a bit more friction and grip when you're striking the ball. As I have been wearing the Superfly 5, the speed rib design, it's really more of a marketing thing than anything to do with performance. Yes, it does help a little with adding a bit of friction to the ball, but not to an extent where it's going to enhance shooting or kicking the ball. So the Flynet upper spans from the heel to the toes of this boot, like what we saw on the MercurialX Proximo 1, and again opts for a dynamic fit collar, wrapping the ankle for a sock-like fit and feel. And again, the dynamic fit collar is a feature which may not be liked by everyone. Of course, you're always going to have that MercurialX Finale version available, which does not feature the dynamic fit collar. It's a standard low-cut version, but this does feature the dynamic fit collar. It's virtually the same as the first generation. Really compresses the ankle for a sock-like feel and fit. And one improvement they have done on the heel here is reduce that sort of seam on the back of the dynamic fit collar. A lot of people wearing the first generation of MercurialX Proximo had blisters on the back of the heel here, but they have reduced it. I have one sort of concern with this. As you can see, this one here, it's got a bit of a bubble at the back here, so it's quite stiff here, then it gets to the collar, but it's got a bit of a bubble here, so I wonder how that will actually feel on feet. Hopefully there's going to be no blisters in the break-in period there. So for enhanced responsiveness, Brilliance cables are again used in the midfoot and work with the laces, Flynet upper and dynamic fit collar to aggressively lock down your foot into the shoe. So the Brilliance cables actually merge with the speed ribs with the laces on both sides of the boot to really lock down the midfoot. So you're going to lock down the midfoot for enhanced responsiveness, especially on turf and indoor court surfaces. It's going to work really well. So the sole plate itself uses the Nike TriStar pattern, and in hand the rubber sole feels very grippy and should offer decent traction on turf surfaces. So as you can see, it's all Volt Yellow. You can't really see what's actually going on, but it's got sort of a TriStar pattern on the forefoot here, and it pretty much spans the entire boot. It's a very, very stiff sole plate. I can can barely sort of bend it here. It will loosen up over time. That's the key thing with the MercurialX Proximo 2. But as you can see, there's sort of tri-star pattern from heel to toe. Very, very robust and very, very grippy. It's going to offer really good traction on turf surfaces. So one thing I noticed with this sole is how rigid and bulky it is. It's much stiffer than the original MercurialX Proximo shoes. As I said before, it should loosen up over time, especially around the toe box. It's very robust and rigid. In my eyes, it's a really wise decision, because the original MercurialX Proximo was very hard to sort of toe poke the ball, but this is sort of going to protect your toes in the way that you can actually toe poke the ball. So you can sort of see how thick that rubber is just coming up there. And another benefit of having a really sort of thick rubber sole is that sole separation will not be an issue. So it's pretty much spans around the toe box, going to be really good for sort of protecting your toes there, as well as providing extra durability. And as you can see, there's an added support system on the medial side of the boot. It sort of adds a bit of bulkiness to the medial side of the boot, and that same sort of system is used on the other side. It's quite soft. It's going to provide sort of a really sort of soft feel under your feet. But yeah, it's a really sort of robust sole plate, and it's sort of designed to enhance durability, especially in 5-sided games on turf and indoor court surfaces. So in terms of weight, this Proximo is roughly 50 grams heavier than the original generation, based on the fact there is more rubber on the sole, and the whole upper itself has a lot more cushioning to it. So yes, the sole is a very sort of heavy sort of system. It's going to be much heavier than the original MercurialX Proximo, for a good reason though. As I said before, it's going to add durability to the boot, and it's just going to provide a bit more protection than the original Proximos. Fit and sizing wise, you should expect a narrow fit when you go true to size. This is the narrowest of all the FootballX ranges by Nike Football, if you didn't know that already. So if by chance you were watching this video and you did want to get yourselves a pair of the MercurialX Proximo 2 or a pair of the Mercurial Superfly 5, we do have that discount code. We have been using this discount code Black Orange on previous videos, and yes, you can get 10% off the MercurialX Proximo 2 or the Mercurial Superfly 5 at Level Soccer. So click on the card now if you want to get yourselves a pair of these boots for 10% off. So now this is the second part of this video. We'll get into the major differences between the MercurialX Proximo 2 and the Mercurial Superfly 5. So these boots are virtually the same, but there are a few differences here and there to cope with the different surface types and playing experiences. So in terms of the upper, we see an extra layer of synthetic Nike skin applied on top of the forefoot on the MercurialX Proximos for extra durability on the hardcore and indoor surfaces. So one thing you see on the Mercurial Superfly 5 is this sort of one layer of Nike skin. It's pretty much designed for a lightweight feel on outdoor surfaces, but the MercurialX Proximo 2 has an added layer of Nike skin just to provide extra durability and help with protection on the hard indoor and turf surfaces. So I'll just bring it closer. Don't know if you can see it, but it's a sort of layer which comes around the swoosh here. So you can see it in the right light. It comes around here, spans around the swoosh here, around the forefoot, around the toe box, onto the other side. And it sort of comes around this second Nike swoosh here. It's very hard to see, but you can actually see in the right line. And it comes around here and sort of spans out here. So it's an added layer just to really help with touch and control, protection and durability on hard indoor and turf surfaces. Definitely a good thing to have. So as I mentioned before, another difference is the weight. Considering this is a shoe designed for turf and indoor courts, it naturally will be heavier than the two shoes based on the fact that it has a rubber sole. So the Mercurial Superfly 5 is actually a much lighter boot than the Mercurial Superfly 4. It's actually just under 200 grams. The MercurialX Proximo is a very sort of heavy boot. It's not the lightest indoor boot out there. It's much heavier than the original MercurialX Proximo, but for a good reason. As I mentioned before, you've got this added rubber materials, especially around the toe box, just to enhance durability and protection. So of course the soles are another major difference on the Mercurial Superfly 5. It has that really lightweight contoured sole plate with chevron designed studs, really aggressive and responsive sole plate by Nike Football. And now we have a look at the MercurialX Proximo, virtually completely different. It's a rubber system. It's designed for turf surfaces, and it's got this added material here on the instep. It's quite a bit of a bulky material here, but it's really going to help durability, and you see nothing like that on the Mercurial Superfly 5. The MercurialX Proximo 1, the original generation, had no sort of instep support cage here, and yeah, pretty much a very sort of robust sole plate. That's a major difference between the original MercurialX Proximo and the Mercurial Superfly 5. So if we turn it around and look at the heels of these two boots, the Proximo has quite a different system than what is seen on the Superfly. So the Superfly has this sort of very sort of minimized soft padded feel of flying it around the heel here. You've got that sort of added ridge here which stops here, and the rest of it is a really sort of small stitching seam here. And on the Proximo it's virtually the same from here up, but you've got a very sort of much more padded and cushioned feel on the Proximo because you need that extra protection, especially on hard indoor surfaces and turf surfaces. You need that extra protection around your heel and around the whole sort of boot. There's added cushioning in places just to help that protection on the very, very hard indoor court surfaces. And yeah, it's just extra padding, and you can see there, just it's a different system of padding there. And of course you got another Nike logo there, but that's just a design change. So based on the fact that this is a boot which will just be used on turf and indoor surfaces, ACC or all conditions control has been excluded from this range, and to me it's not really a problem. On the Mercurial Superfly 5 you can see the ACC symbol there, but there's no ACC symbol on the MercurialX Proximo 2. To me that's not really a big problem. Whether it actually enhances or provides consistent touch in all weather conditions, it's really up to you to decide. I haven't really been a major fan of all conditions control technology by Nike Football anyway. So we're getting to the sort of last minor differences between the MercurialX Proximo and the Superfly. Design wise, as you can see, just looking at the collars there, the MercurialX Proximo has a bit of Volt yellow coming through on both sides of the collar here, whereas the Superfly 5's Dunno for collar is purely black. There's nothing coming through whatsoever, and to me that's not really a premium feel. On the MercurialX Proximo you've got Volt yellow underneath, and it's a really sort of premium feature. It's sort of lined in a way that makes it look really premium, and when you've got your foot in the Proximos it's just going to come out like that. Look at that, it just looks really premium. But on the Superfly 5 it's all black, so when you put your foot in it's not going to come out like that. To me, I'm really a big fan of this collar design. And of course another design change is the sole plates on the Superfly 5. It's pretty much black with sort of translucent Volt yellow studs there. A really sort of sharp and modern looking sole plate. And of course on the Proximo it's all Volt yellow. You can't really see what's going on, and Volt yellow to me makes it much sort of vibrant, much more vibrant and sort of modernistic than the actual Superfly 5 design. But that's all about personal preference. They've pretty much got the same design. We talk about the features which are the same. The flying up is the same central lacing system, the don't fit collar. Of course there's no ACC, but pretty much the same speed rib design. It's exactly the same on both of these boots, thicker on the medial side and much thinner on the lateral side of the boot. But that's pretty much it in terms of the differences. If you have any questions on these two boots, especially on the MercurialX Proximo 2, the boot we've actually unboxed and talked about today, please leave it in the comment section below and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.
We about to turn it up. Turn it up.